When it's time.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, we will get started. The attendees are starting to come in now.
And when Andrew is doing his work,
Back 1 second.
then I'll disappear.
Yes, we're here. Oh, let's see. Oh, there's Andrew. Hello, everyone. We can't see you, but you can see us. Welcome to our webinar. This is our very first webinar that we have offered, especially in this format, in this webinar format. And we're so excited for this, but also it is our first time. So if we have a few technical issues, please stay with us. But hopefully everyone can see us and can hear us. And I don't know if I'm showing up on the screen or not. I'm seeing everyone here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So as people are quite most likely aware, you can chat. There's the chat function at the bottom of the screen. There is a menu there, and pull up your chat function. That's how we'll be asking questions as we go along. And we are going to get started. So I'm going to hand things over to Larry O'Farrell, who is the chair of the Canadian Network for Arts and Learning. And he's going to do a quick introduction, and then we'll get going from there. Take it away, Larry.
Thanks very much, Jennifer. And thanks to you for organizing and setting up I know we have partners I'll acknowledge as well, but thank you for your work on this. And I want to welcome everybody. This is apparently, according to Jennifer, a sold out webinar. So we're really excited about the turnout. I want to thanks especially to our sponsor, the Canada Council for the Arts, without whom we wouldn't be able to do any of this digital work. And salute our partners in this webinar, the Coalition for Music Education and the Manitoba Arts Network, both of whom have been working closely with Jennifer on this. Just a tiny bit of background. The Canadian Network for Arts and Learning has been working on digital, what shall I say, opening digital doors in the field of arts and learning for some time before COVID. Then when COVID struck, it became clear that there was a very big need for help and information and assistance in the field. So we ran 2 series of digital roundtables across the country and found out that there is a very, very strong need for support. So my thanks to Andrew Mercer for leading us through this particular, our first outing in terms of supporting arts and learning, making connections with the digital sector. Thanks very much. Welcome. Andrew.
Thank you, Larry. So we are going to get started just with a quick overview. So as Larry mentioned, our main funder at this point is the Canada Council for the Arts. And we are with the Digital Strategy Fund. And part of the work that we are doing is, of course, what we do regularly is support the arts and learning sector throughout Canada. And we're delighted to be able to offer these types of things. But with the Canada Council grant, specifically, we're looking at helping the sector be more discoverable online to the public and increase public access to the arts and to arts and learning. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about how we are doing that. And Andrew is helping me out here because I wasn't able to figure out how to share my screen earlier. Didn't get that. So first off, here is one of the ways that we're helping all of the work that you're doing be discovered online. So this is our directory of online arts instruction. And anyone can search for, you can search by art form, you can search by age range, by price, and all of these different profiles show up, and people can look at taking classes or lessons online. And that is directly related to profiles on Canada's Map of Arts and Learning. And that's the other one here. And actually, you can just, so there's the Map of Arts and Learning. You can see right there. So every one of those pins is a profile. We have almost 9,000 profiles so far on Canada's Map of Arts and Learning. And when you fill out a profile, you have the option to say whether or not you offer digital instruction. And so if you do offer digital instruction, you will show up on the directory that we just had there. So when people are Googling for online lessons, or even if they're Googling for lessons in a certain city or region or art form, we do show up fairly high within Google, and then people can find your profile on the map, and these profiles will lead them directly to your website or whatever contact information that you have indicated on your profile. So after this this webinar, we will be sending out an email to let you know how you can get on the map, and to encourage you to get on the map, and also give your feedback in terms of how we can improve the map, what you would like to see. So lots, we really encourage you to get on the map so that we can help the public find you and help you in your efforts to teach. And just to let you know, not just artist educators or arts organizations, also schools. We want to know what's happening throughout the country. So in schools, for example, we want to know what your facilities are, what kind of programs you're offering. And we know this year everything is scaled back a lot for arts education, unfortunately, but we still want to know what's happening if you have arts teachers, if you have a dedicated space, etc. So, so do encourage you to fill out a profile to get on the map, and also get on the directory there as well. So now, without any further ado, we are absolutely delighted to have Andrew Mercer and his expertise. He's a pioneer in the field, as you will find out, and he has been working for more than 2 decades on online learning. So now, of course, he's incredibly busy now that everybody is signed into this and needing to do all of this quite unexpectedly. So we are excited for his expertise, and we're really looking forward to hearing what he has to say. So Andrew, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. And thank you, Larry. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm sure it's a beautiful Sunday evening wherever you are. I'm coming from Newfoundland and Labrador on the far East Coast. And, you know, it's rain, drizzle, and fog here today. But it's lovely, you know, it's good stuff. You know, this is COVID time. So, you know, it's all good. It's great to be here with you. I can't see everybody, you know, and I'm a very needy person. I can't see everybody. So, but I'd like to know you're there with me. I know Tim Berlays is there. Tim, hello. Great to see you. But I can't see anybody. So can you guys all do me a favor? In the chat window, can you type in, where are you in the world? Like, where are you coming from? You know, are you in Labrador? Are you in Calgary? Are you wherever? So type it into the chat window for me. And we got, oh yeah, we got Laurel in BC. That's good. Virginia, hello. In the north, good. Tina, Julian, good to see you. Thank you. Jennifer, hello. Hello, Anne. Good to see you. Dory Gold, nice to see you in Edmonton. And we got North Vancouver and Waynes and Dory. That's good. Bev, Della in Vancouver Island. Hello, everybody. Hi. And if you know anybody, if you see anybody there that you recognize the name, be sure to say hello back to them, you know. The thing is, online, it's important that we pay a lot of attention to the building of rapport, the building of community. And here we are, you know. Hey, nice to have you with us, Emma. And hello in Ontario to you. No, I can't see the panelists. I know the panelists. Can you guys see me? Can you see me there now? I'm assuming you can. Now, Larry and Jennifer have their, okay, great. Thanks, Tessa. I appreciate that.
Yes, yes, we can hear you well.
Great stuff. That's great. Thank you, Della. I appreciate that. Okay, and hello to Sussex. Listen, it's wonderful to see all you people here today, because you know what? It's exciting to see so many people passionate about the arts and education to get on their Sunday afternoon, a Sunday evening, to come along and do something with us. So it's great to see so much passion. Now, like Jennifer was saying, I've been involved in online learning for a long time, and I've been teaching high school music entirely online in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador for 18 years now. Yes, 18 years. You can see the gray. There's quite a bit. When I started, I wasn't so gray. It's creeped up on me. 18 years of teaching online. Yeah, we were in dial-up then. 18 years ago, YouTube didn't exist. Facebook didn't exist. A lot of the things that we have that we take for granted today didn't exist. So we've been 18 years teaching online here in Newfoundland and Labrador, and we've had to because of our diverse population. We're really geographically diverse. You know, we're all over the province. You know, all along the coastline, everywhere. And we know Tim Berlays is here with us, and Tim will be the first to attest. This year in my class, I have a student in Nain, in Northern Labrador, in Nain. And I have a student on the south coast of Newfoundland in a community that you can only get to by boat on a good day. So we've needed distance education for a long time. So because of that, I've been online teaching music to high school students for 18 years. So I've managed to see a lot of technology come and go, and we've figured out ways of utilizing what we have at the time to get the best out of it. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to talk to you about the arts. Now, I'm a music teacher, but I do a lot of other arts things during my day and with my students and things. So we're going to talk about some visual artwork, maybe some theater, things like that. Hello to Vancouver. Nice to see you. Great to have you along, Amy. So I'm going to talk about some of the technology that's out there and the technology you might want to use and some strategies for implementing it. Now, I'm going to talk about 18 years worth of stuff in about an hour. So I'm going to apologize up front. I'm sorry this may come at you at 100 miles an hour. And I'm going to try my best to keep it slow and steady. But if there are things that I talk about, feel free to ask a question. And because I'm watching the chat at all times. I have one eye on you and one eye on the chat. I got it covered. But if it turns out you have a question about something in particular that is something you want to follow up with me on, well, let me just put this up on the board right now for you. Feel free to contact me at any time. You can contact me. Here's my contact information. I have no friends, so please contact me. I'd love to speak to somebody because I'm stuck in my little closet here all day with my students. And if you have any one-on-one needs, please just let me know. I'm happy to get on with you and help you in whatever way I can. Okay, so let's get started. The very first thing I want to talk to you about, this is online education, but again, it's cross-discipline. So a lot of things I want to talk about relate to music, but the fact is that we can apply to a lot of different disciplines: theater, dance, any kind of movement, especially music. I mean, that's where I come from. But we can apply it across all disciplines. So feel free to massage my message in whatever way works for you. And maybe there's ways, and I will speak about the specifics, but maybe there's ways that you can take the things we talk about and make them your own. Have a look at this quote that's up on the board now. This is Kelly Walsh, who's a great Newfoundland choral conductor. Kelly said this quote, and I want you to look at that one and think about it, and think about your own program, because we have a way of doing things that we may have done for eons. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're right. Doesn't mean that they're the best. It doesn't mean we got to hang on to them with a death grip. We need to change. We need to be able to move and bend, and we need to be able to accommodate what it is to be your ensemble, your discipline, whatever it is your offering is. We need to be able to be flexible in these troubled times and be able to adapt. And you know what? I think that if we do, with a real open mind, and you consider all of the pedagogical challenges that we're faced with and try to come up with pedagogical solutions, you're going to come away at the end of all this, once we have a vaccine and we're all straightened away again, you're going to come away better, because there's going to be things that you will find in an online setting that will be better. Not everything, of course, but there will be things that will be better than maybe the way you've been doing it for the past 20 years. So, keep an open mind. And certainly if you demand that in this COVID time, you need to have what you've always had, you may be disappointed. So be very careful that you don't hang on to things that maybe are not necessary to hang on to. So let's talk about what our challenges are going to be for a second. First thing, I want to share 2 documents with you. Actually, it's 1 document. This is a document that Choral Canada put out. I'm going to put it in the text window. There's 2 links. One is the English version of the document, and one is the French version of the document. And I'm going to apologize. I would love to have had it in some other languages as well. I'm trying to learn Inuktitut myself, and there are a variety of other languages I wish we had it in, but we don't at this point. But you know what? Let's make a move towards that too, because some of these resources are easier to access these days than they've ever been. Anyway, as I move on, this document that's there from Choral Canada, it can help you think about how you want to take your delivery, your program forward. It'll help you organize your thoughts a little on what are things you want to keep, and what are things you don't really need to keep, and what things can be brought in that might help you. So have a look at that document. You can do that offline. You can do it asynchronous, which we're going to talk about too. Now, you can digest that on your own time. I've given you homework already. I'm sorry. Now, the one thing I want to do before I move any further, I want to do this. I'm going to take my phone here. I'm going to say, hey, Siri, set my timer for 5 minutes. Siri's not listening to me. Hey, Siri, set my timer for 5 minutes.
Your timer is set for 5
Okay,
minutes.
so I'm going to set a timer, and I'm going to keep doing this. And we're going to talk about why a little later, but I want to be very deliberate with what we do here tonight. I want to set a timer so we're very deliberate. Remember that word. Okay, let me share a little mountain range with you here. A beautiful picture. Now, when you first see a mountain range like this, your eyes go to the mountaintops, and you look up here and you go, wow, look at that. That's beautiful. And if we think about this as an analogy here, like symbolizing challenges that we face in our moving our practices online, the very first thing that we see in the challenges is the hardest things. We always, as humans, we default in a challenging situation to the biggest trouble. And I'll say from a music standpoint, the first thing people say is, how can I perform Mahler? You know what? Performing Mahler is up here. How can I get my jazz band to perform like 12-piece jazz pieces live online? That's up here. Performing live over the internet is extremely difficult, if not impossible. And I'll talk to you more about it later, but this is a major unattainable issue, is things like playing online. Because and in the form of dance, in the form of visual arts, in the form of writing, there are going to be challenges that we're going to face. Don't focus on the hardest stuff. Let's focus on the easier things. If we think about curriculum, there's outcomes up here. Yes, there are outcomes up here, but there are many outcomes that are further down in the valley. There's many outcomes that are down here that are easily accessible. They're low-hanging fruit. They're things that you can easily do with your students online that are very compelling, educationally sound, engaging, and their outcomes, we need to do them anyway. So really don't focus on the hardest things to focus on. Don't focus on the things like playing Mahler live over the internet. I want to do a virtual choir. I want to do a virtual choir, and I want to do this piece, and it's going to be, really? Do you really need that? You know, we have so many wonderful things that we can be doing. Let's not focus on these hardest things educationally. Let's take a look at some of the easier things. Okay. And as you start thinking about your challenges and your philosophy on what it is you want your ensemble to be and what do you want to do as you move into this area. Think about things like what is a model going to be? A model, we're going to talk about in a minute, but a model, I mean, it could be a face-to-face model which is 2019, face-to-face model will be everybody's in your room looking at you because it's, it's face-to-face, bricks and mortar. That's one model. Another model that we are dealing with is hybrid, which some of the students or some of your choristers or band members or whatever, they are sitting in front of you. And then there are some that can't because of whatever reasons. They're home and they're watching through Zoom or Google Meet or some other thing. So that's a hybrid. And of course, a complete online model would be all of your students are online. Okay, so as you think about what your model is, that's going to drive your plans as well. And we're going to talk about the models and how we need to make sure we're fluid between these models as well. Think about what the podium is. I mean, we have the question, your role as a leader, a conductor, a guide on the side. What does that mean now in an online setting? What's your role? What's your responsibility? What's the responsibility that you want to put on your students? What do you want them to be responsible for? Things like that. Also think about when your students signed up to be doing what it is that you're doing, whether it's art or dance or whatever, when they signed up for that, is this what they signed up for? Are you still delivering what they signed up for? Because you may have, because of restrictions, molded into something new, but are they still getting what they want? That's something to think about too. In the case of music, it's authentic music making. It's community. It's being creative. It's being part of an ensemble doing some wonderful things. I mean, there's lots of things it could be. Are you still delivering those things? Ask yourself that and guide your new skills and guide your new technologies that you're implementing on the answers that you get to this. So these are pretty broad. And I'm not going to talk too much about that. I want to talk. Oh, my timer just went off. Siri just set my timer off. Let me ask you a question now. Can I have every single person, with no exception, I want you to write up in the chat window for me, what discipline of the arts are you mainly focused in? Some of you may be cross-discipline, of course, but if it's dance and music, okay, write it in. If it's visual arts, sculpture, painting, violin, choral, go ahead, write it on up there. Let's see it. Okay, we got piano, we got theater and writing, music composition, illustration, dance, visual arts, flute teacher, dance. That's really cool. That's really cool. Sarah, thank you. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Angela. Amanda, thank you. Kate, sorry. Book arts, book binding. Very cool. Very cool. This is such an exciting group. Holy cow, that's really cool. Photography, sound creation. Oh, we have a lot of things to talk about. Becco, we got a lot of things to talk about. Laura, excellent, Laura. Excellent, good stuff. Okay, so you guys got me really excited because there's so many exciting people here. So we talked already, very briefly, about, and one more thing to say. And this is about the Newfoundland weather. I mean, I'm on the East Coast of Newfoundland. Rain, drizzle, and fog most of the time. If I was out for a walk over the summer with my wife, and it was cold. We had winter coats on, and we had hats on, like winter hats, and it was in the middle of the summer. And I thought to myself about us, you and I thought, if we had to wait for good weather to go for a walk in Newfoundland, we'd never leave the house. And it's the same thing here. If we had to wait for all of the things to be perfect in what we do, and we do here online, and you're going to make a delivery change to start delivering online. If you need to wait for everything to be perfect, like the weather in Newfoundland, you'll never do it. So we can't. We got to go. We got to do it. We got to use the tools that are in front of us. Okay, let's move on. So I spoke briefly about the models that we have. And just again, face-to-face is like it was in 2018. Hybrid model, some of your students are at home and some of your students are in front of you. Online is everybody's online. And it's unfortunate that we're seeing more and more of the online these days because the cases are up, across Canada. And saw I'm seeing Ontario, Toronto, Peel, York, seen some bad numbers. We've had a case yesterday and a case today, and Newfoundland's small, but we're seeing cases too. So we need to be careful about these models that we see, because you may say to yourself, okay, well, I'm doing a hybrid model. Good. But you may move to an online at some point. So we need to make sure that whatever of those 3 models you're in, you need to be ready to, as they say, pivot to another model. So always be careful that you're not getting too comfortable in that model. Right here in Newfoundland and Labrador, it's face-to-face. Because we have very few cases. Most of the stuff we do is now face-to-face. We have very few restrictions because there's no cases here. I tell you, it won't take long and we're into a hybrid. So if an art instructor was, thanks, Della. If an art instructor was saying, I'm face-to-face and I'm good, I'm not going to worry about this, then when the time comes and they have to pivot to a hybrid, you're going to be caught on your heels. You don't want to do that. And the same deal, if you have to go from hybrid to completely online, don't do that. Make sure you're ready and have your students prepared, because when you're, well, you know what? It doesn't matter about the age, because when the restrictions come down, And like the things I'm going to talk about here today can be applied to a variety of ages. And you can take what I say and massage it into the age group you're working with. Some things will apply to older, some things will apply to younger. You are the pedagogical experts in your field. So, but I'm going to try to be as broad as I can. But what I was going to say was, if you have your students in a face-to-face model right now, prepare them now for hybrid. Prepare them now for online. So, start doing that. Now, I'm going to talk a bit about that in a minute, but right now I'm going to move on, but I'm going to come back to that and how you can do that a little bit later. Okay, so next thing I want to take to you about is synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous and asynchronous. And you're saying, Andrew, what are you talking about? I don't know what synchronous and asynchronous is. Well, it's quite simple. Synchronous is what we're doing here now. Us talking back and forth here, this is synchronous. This is live. It's like you being in the room having coffee with somebody. It's a live thing. That's synchronous. Asynchronous is things that students can do on their own time, at their own pace. For example, listening to a piece of music, or visiting the Louvre website, or collecting things for a project outside their house, or things that they can do on their own time, at their own pace. Those are asynchronous things. And what we need to do here in an online setting is we have to be deliberate. We have to be very, very deliberate in how we use our synchronous and our asynchronous time. It's very, very important. It's got to have a careful balance between that. Let me tell you why. If you are in your studio and you have a student who comes through, let's say it's a pottery student, you can walk over and you can say, hey, you like that, what you're doing here? Come over and let me show you this other thing. Let me show you this other pottery that I've got over here. Or let me show you what you're doing right or wrong. That's a good job. Pat on the shoulder. Think about an online setting. In an online setting, you have to do that in email. You have to do that in some other way, or maybe in a private breakout room, or you have to find some way to connect with them and share the example that you want to share with them. You've got to share it in another way. You can't just, hey, let me show you this. It's very deliberate. So you can keep the spontaneity there within these lessons, but you also need to be very, very deliberate in how you have things prepared for them. Here's what I mean. When you have students for a synchronous time, like we are right here now, make sure that you make the best use of that synchronous time. Have a look at have a look at your lesson plan and ask yourself, is there anything in this synchronous lesson that I could really put off to asynchronous? Am I making the best use of my time face-to-face with my students? Am I making best use of my synchronous time with my students in an online setting or in a face-to-face setting? Am I making best use of this? Because if I'm coming into a synchronous setting like this, and I'm saying, okay, everybody, go to the Louvre website and look at the artwork, and I'll be back to you in 10 minutes. Really? You probably could have given that offline. They probably could have done that some other time, or maybe took a class where you said, this is going to be an asynchronous class. So in this period, You're going to work on things on your own pace, and I'm going to work with people individually. And I'll give you more strategies in that shortly. But make sure that when you are face-to-face with them, like I am with you, do the things that can only be done synchronous. Don't squander your synchronous time. And then on your asynchronous, make sure that you have them a good, robust collection of resources. Now, when I say asynchronous, I'm going to talk to you in a minute or so about the tools, what I mean about asynchronous, but I just want you to have that mindset that both synchronous and asynchronous are a balance, and they are very carefully playing with each other, complementing each other. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about synchronous. Let's talk about synchronous tools. Asynchronous first, asynchronous. Asynchronous are things like Google Classroom or Google Drive or Brightspace, okay? And I forgot to set my Siri timer, so I'm going to pretend my timer went off again. Can everybody here type up in the chat window for me, what tool do you use to share stuff with your students? Email, Google Classroom, Google Drive, Dropbox? I don't know, Brightspace? I don't know. What do you put it in the thing? Or if you don't have either one, say, I don't have one. That's cool, okay? But my timer, I'm gonna say again, hey Siri, set my timer for 5 minutes. Notice how deliberate I'm being? Hey Siri, set my timer for 5 minutes. Siri's ignoring me. I don't know why. Email, yeah, a lot of emails,
Okay,
website.
5 minutes and counting.
Moodle, email. Yeah, Google Drive, email, Zoom, okay? WhatsApp, email, good stuff, Instagram, text. Okay, good. So that's good stuff. Keep them coming. So this is how you share stuff with your students. Now, you may want to have a good look at some options for sharing files and sharing stuff, sharing resources with your students, videos and things like that. Some of you look to be pretty robust. You know, I'm seeing Moodle, I'm seeing Dropbox and things like that. So if you're using email, that's cool too, whatever works for you, okay? But always be questioning, is it working good enough for you? Google has a lot of free service you may want to look at. Google Classroom, Google Drive, you know, so that might be a good place you can share. And there's lots of great resources on YouTube to help you find your way through that. And then there's Dropbox and things like that too. So, you know, you think about that. There may be other, options as well that may fit your needs, but those are all asynchronous tools. And we need to make sure that our asynchronous tools are organized in a way that's going to maximize what the students can get. And if you're doing something really simple, like say if you're like texting resources to students, or emailing resources to students, that's okay. I mean, I'm sure it works, but it doesn't provide it in a way that the students can revisit easily and keep it cataloged and organized so that they can find the things. And, you know, so you may want to think about something maybe a bit more robust, like Google Drive or whatever Microsoft's options are, or whatever is that you like. But there's lots of options out there, and they're free too. So lots of options. So think really hard about that. The next thing is synchronous. Now, synchronous, okay, Larry, thank you. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Larry's saying goodbye. Yeah. So in synchronous side of things, we have synchronous tools like Zoom we're using here now. Zoom's great. We have a whole bunch of other ones too. BBC Ultra, Adobe Connect, Bongo, WebEx, Google Meet. There's a whole bunch. Some of them are free and some of them are not. Some of them have a lot of functionality and some are very simple. Google Meet's a good place to start. Again, it's a Google thing. It's free. It's pretty easy to use. It's got some basic functionality, but it'll let you get together with students like this. It's synchronous, so you can have a chat with your students. It's good stuff. Some of them have other features. They're more feature rich that may be better for you. Like Zoom lets you do all kinds of cool things. We'll talk about it a little later. And Google Meet lets you do a lot of cool things. And so you can have a look and see which ones. You can compare them. On Monday and Tuesday of last week, I spent those 2 full days with the team reviewing all the main synchronous tools. It was a long 2 days, but you know, that they came back with a lot of results. If you need some help to decide on a synchronous tool or an asynchronous tool, feel free to email me. Once again, you probably already saw this, but I'm gonna put it up on the window again. I have no friends. I'd love for you to email me. I'd love to hear from you. If you can tell me what it is that you need, I might be able to give you a hand with what you need. Okay, that's synchronous and asynchronous tools. I'm gonna move on now to some equipment. Okay, so your setup, what it is that you're using to do what it is that you do, the wonderful things you do. Okay. So first thing I want to talk about your computer or your iPad or your phone or whatever it is that you use. If you're using an iPad or a phone for your classes, for your synchronous time. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to focus this session almost entirely on synchronous because that's the thing that most people find most exotic. We're not so used to. I mean, we're very used to emails and stuff like that, but we're not so used to video conferencing. So I'm going to give you my 18 years of experience teaching live classes in synchronous, and I'm going to give you that. So if you're in a synchronous session, like we are here now, and you want to use a computer or laptop or desktop, because a phone or an iPad, it's good. It will get you by, no doubt. But if you want to get into some really good things, like advanced things, then you would, good question, Helen, good question. Give me a second. If you're using like an iPad or a tablet of some sort or a phone, those things are tiny. And they trade off size for power, because they're not really powerful. Whereas even a modest laptop is way more powerful than a pretty new iPad, you know? So the thing is, you're going to get a lot more functionality out of a computer. So you can still use an iPad, you can still use your phone, but you're going to get a lot more functionality and a lot more power and performance out of a computer. So think about that, okay? Not saying you got to do it, but it's certainly important. For the list of synchronous tools, the ones that came to me in the last little while that I think I would recommend, if you're doing group things, the two that I would recommend as the best quality functionality cross-platform would be Zoom and WebEx. Okay, I can't get into them right now because we don't have time, but Zoom and WebEx. Okay, if you're doing things and you just want bare bones, and you just want to get in, so like there's no learning curve, it's pretty simple, I'd say Google Meet. Okay, now there's a lot of other options, but we did a full rubric review of all of these last week, and what we came back with was Zoom and WebEx are the most functional, and Google Meet is probably the easiest to use. Okay, there you go. A lot more functionality of a computer and a lot more power. Yes, Kate. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's talk about your network. When you connect to a computer, when you connect for the internet, what am I trying to say? When you're connecting for a lesson with the students, you want to have the best performance you can. Let me share this with you. I'm going to share this with you, and I'm going to put it into the chat window. This is, here we go, speedtest.net. I'm going to click go. You just go to the place, you click go. Now, this might not work on all of your tablets and stuff, but if you're on a computer, it'll work. And you take my word for it. I'll let you see it here now, and then you can see where it goes. While this is chugging away here, my Siri just the alarm went off again. When you get a chance, can you put up, what platform do you use? Do you use iPad? Do you use a Google tablet, like an Android tablet? Do you use a phone? Do you use a computer? What's your main platform for using for doing your sessions? Okay, thank you. Now, and while you're writing that up for me, I'm going to tell you as well, the reason why I'm doing all of these questions is because when I have my classes, I set a timer, and it's silent, but I set a timer so that every 5 minutes I have to ask my students a question, because I have a group of 25 at a time. So my 25 students, I don't want any of them to not be engaged with me, and I don't want to not be engaged with any of them like that. So I've deliberately set my timer so that every 5 minutes I ask them a question. Now, the questions I'm asking you here now are pretty benign, but I ask them curricular questions. So if we're talking about something specific in curriculum, I will reference that. I'll ask them a question so they'll all answer me. Not a question like, what's the capital of Ontario? But I will ask them a question like, what do you prefer, this or this? And everybody will have an opinion, right? Okay, I see all your answers. Good stuff. It's good to see. Laptop, MacBook, laptop, PC, all good. Yeah, cool. Right on. But my timing myself with Siri makes me interact with the students all the time. And by the way, if I have a student who doesn't answer me, then I call home or I call the school, wherever it is that they're taking the lesson from me for. That I can then call home and say, where's Johnny? Okay, so we'll see here. I just ran a speed test. Now I'm on wireless. I wanted to give you, I will show you that. Normally when I do these sessions, I'm plugged into my network, which I'll talk to you in a second, but I'm on wireless here and my download speed is 31, which is not great. Wireless gives you not that great performance. My upload speed's 59. Now, you don't need to know what these numbers actually mean, but here's what I want to tell you. If your number for your upload is less than 10, you're going to get glitchy video. Your students are going to get glitchy video and glitchy audio. Okay, that's a really important number right there, because that number right there is the one that's going to dictate the quality of your lessons. So you want to have it like decent. Okay, so now I'm going to get off that and I'm going to stop sharing that. If you want to, you can post up in here what your speeds were, your upload and download. You don't have to, but you can if you like. And again, feel free to interact with me, right? Now, let's say your upload speed is below 10. Your students are going to get some glitchy video. You're going to get that, okay? You're going to get it. Now, I'm on wireless now, okay? I'm on wireless. But if I should have been on wired. I'm not going to switch over now because I don't want to cut us off. But wired would mean I plug this kind of plug. You guys recognize this? Say yes or no if you recognize this kind of plug. It looks like an old-fashioned phone plug, right? If you plug the internet, yeah, good, thank you. Thank you, Susan. Yes, okay, Sarah, yeah, good stuff. So this kind of plug we call it Ethernet. You plug this into your computer and then into your modem, okay? So in your house or your office or wherever, you plug it into the modem. Now, if I had I'm not plugged in right now, okay? But if I was plugged in, here's what the numbers would be for me. Oh, my jumpins, here we go. Here's what the numbers would be. For the upload, my upload number right here would be around 200, okay? 200, and this here would be about 280. That's the performance difference. In wireless is up here, this is wireless, and this is wired numbers. So that's the difference. Substantially better. So whenever possible, plug in whenever possible. Okay. So there you go. Now, also another thing too, just to kind of expand on that, when you are on wireless, like I am now, the information comes down over the network. Download comes down to me from you guys, and it goes out from here up. But it can't do it at the same time. It goes down and then shoots it up, and then down and up and down, and one at a time. It can't do it at the same time. It's called half duplex. When you're plugged in for wireless, the down and the up can happen at the same time. It's called full duplex. So it's way faster. Anyway, not to get too technical, plug in if you can. Okay, but now I didn't have any of you guys on tonight. I don't have any video going with you guys. I can't see any of your faces. So I'm okay on wireless for this session. But normally I'd be plugged in. Okay, now, and that speed test, we had somebody earlier, it was like, it's gone way up in the chat window now. Thank you. Whoever it was also gave us another alternative for how to check your internet speed instead of speedtest.net. There are other options. Thank you, whoever that was. I can't see who it was because it's way up and I can't scroll right now. Okay, if you are having trouble, if you're not getting the speed you like, here's what I want you to do. Number one, thanks, Della. Thanks, Susan. Here's what I want you to do. If you're on wireless, get closer to your modem, the one with the antennas, Get closer to your router with the antennas. Okay, get closer to it and see what you get. Run it again. Run speed test again. If the numbers are way better, well, you probably got to get closer to it, If it's still not very good, then do this. Take the power out of turn the power off on your modem. Just pull the plug out of the wall, the power plug, count to 15 and plug it back in again. Also, your computer or your tablet or whatever it is you're using, reboot that too. Power it off completely and power it all up again. You probably should do that once a week anyway. And trust me, I have a lot of gear here, and I use a Mac myself for most of my stuff. I also use Linux and Windows. I reboot often. Don't tell me that you don't need to reboot your machine. You're wrong. You should reboot the machine every now and then. Okay, so make sure you don't have 100 applications open. Like close down some apps on your computer or your iPad. Shut stuff off. You know, if you're not using that Facebook app, turn it off. Okay. And if that doesn't work, if you're still not getting good speeds, call your provider. A year and a half ago, I was getting really sketchy speeds here at the house. So I called Bell, which is my provider, and I told them, and they said, oh, your modem is like, we stopped using those 5 years ago. They're obsolete. They didn't tell me, of course. So they sent over a technician with a new modem. They installed it. I have excellent speeds ever since. And if you're paying for fiber, you're paying for high speed, and you're not getting it, something's wrong there because you're paying for it. Okay, you can look into that yourself. Okay, and then test. If you're doing a session with a bunch of kids, before the session starts, test everything. Make sure everything's working. I came on here a half hour before you arrived. Test everything. Let's move on to cameras. Okay, cameras, and then we're going to talk about audio and lighting and all kinds of things like that to make sure we get the best lighting we can. Okay, I got to tell you something. I didn't really realize this until I actually did it, but it's kind of funny. So I have a lot of things here put in a box that I was going to show that I show people, when we're trying to work these things out. And I didn't realize, like, it's almost like it's a COVID like help box, And then I didn't realize until really it didn't clue in. It's Chianti. So it's a Chianti box. So this is supposed to be a box to help you get through COVID online, but maybe it's another way. Anyway, if you need Chianti to help you through COVID, well, you fill your boots. But what am I supposed to do? So let's talk first about cameras, okay? Now, we had some people here who said that they were into sculpture and visual arts. Well, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of options that may be exciting for you. First thing I want to talk to you about is the camera you probably use all the time. You probably use your camera on your laptop. Now, my camera on my laptop is this one. I'm going to switch. Okay, so this is the one over here. Now, on this laptop camera, if I'm using my laptop, I'm this far away. I'm this far away from my camera. Okay, so that's how, and now, so like I can't touch the camera, but I'm that far away. Now, when you see, it's pretty tight. It's tight in on me like this, It's like it's not meant to be a wide angle lens. Okay, it's not meant to be. It's meant to be private. That's what that's what it's for. I'm using a separate camera, which is over here. That one. This one, same distance, but look how wide it is. I'm the same distance from the lens, but look. Now I'm a violinist, so I can't play for you right now because my violin's over there. But if I'm playing my violin, my students can see my arms. They can see everything. If you're conducting, if you're doing something, you're doing dance, you want to be able to have a big, wide range. And not only that, but your students want to be engaged with you. You want to be able to use your whole body to engage with your students. I tell people when they're framing up their camera, it should be top of the frame should be scraping the top of your head, and the bottom of the frame should be at your belt line. So belt line to the top of your head. And that way, then you got your whole body to interact with the students with. So the thing with a laptop, if you're using a laptop webcam, it's going to be so close to you because your hands are on the keyboard probably, then it's not enough. It's just a big head. You just be a big head. It's hard to engage in that. Okay, so think about that. Now, the webcam I'm using is a Logitech webcam. There's a few different brands, but Logitech is pretty ubiquitous. They're not expensive, $40, that kind of thing. You don't have to pay a lot of money for a webcam these days, and you get a nice one, and buy local, buy local. But you should be able to find a good webcam for $40 or so. This one I'm using is a little more expensive, but you don't need a really expensive one. And with a platform like Zoom, I'm not going to demonstrate it here right now, but with a platform like Zoom, you can use 2 cameras at once. Very exciting. So I have a professor who I was helping. It was a writing professor, and she writes like poetry, and she wanted to show the writing process. So she wanted her students to be able to see her writing, want to see her doing this and scribbling out. And she wanted to be able to, they want to see that and still see her face at the same time. So she needed 2 cameras. So we looked at some options about doing that. And then I was also talking to I was helping a professor, a piano professor, about how she can have a camera on her hands, looking down on the keyboard, you know what I'm saying? And then a camera to see her feet as well, because as she's playing. So we looked at options for that. Now, here's what came up. This is a really interesting one that I didn't really think about before. Okay, no, don't laugh. Okay, and you can write up in chat window. Write up in chat window. I'm not going to laugh. Okay, don't laugh. So, if I show stuff doing my iPad, should I find a way to mirror on the wired laptop? I'm not sure. You can show iPad stuff on the laptop. I can share iPad stuff in here in Zoom. You use both cameras when you participate, or you have to be a host. I'm not sure, Anne. I'm not sure about that one. It's probably a right that the host can give you as a participant. So, okay, don't laugh. I do a lot of, like, I restore old motorcycles and things. And a lot of times I need to look down inside the engine. So I have an endoscope. Don't laugh. I actually have an endoscope. This has a light in the end of it. It's USB on this end. So it's USB, so it just plugs into your computer. And this is 3 meters long, and it's a gooseneck, you know? So it stays wherever you put it. So for the writing, the person who's doing writing, or maybe if you're doing visual art, like let's say painting, so you can aim this where you want, maybe on a microphone stand, and aim it down at your hand. You know what I'm doing? See that? And then you can have 2 cameras going in here. So you can have a camera on your face so they can engage with what you're saying. And then you can also see the camera on your work. So the piano professor that we're helping with, they, yeah, I know what you're saying, Laura. I know. I get a lot of laughs with this one. Anyway, no jokes. I'm not going to make any more jokes about my endoscope. You can. Camera coverage on a speaker. Yeah, oh, gotcha. Yeah, and the 2 cell phones is what the piano teacher was doing initially. This she can wrap it around the leg of the piano, so it points at her feet, and she can wrap it over a microphone stand over the keyboard and point it down at the keyboard so you can see her hands. This is just really, it's just really versatile. And they're $30. Like, I got this on Amazon for $30. I tried to buy local, but I couldn't find anywhere to get it around here, so I had to get it on Amazon. But $30 endoscope. So you can run multiple cameras. That might be useful for a lot of what you're doing. I mean, I saw somebody doing puppetry. That would be great. I mean, you could probably find lots of ways to use multiple cameras, and especially that kind of camera. Piece of cake. $30. Okay. So that's it for cameras for now. I'm trying to move on. I mean, I could talk for cameras all day. I want to talk a little bit about lighting. Okay, so right now where I am, let me show you what I got. Okay, I'll turn that off. I'll turn that off. Okay, so now this is my lighting in my room normally. It's pretty dark. It's not bad, but it's pretty dark. But I have a little light over here. See, looks better already. What do you think? What do you think, Larry? Sarah, look good or what? And then I have another one over here. See? So now I've got 2 lights. And for those people in visual arts, this one was very blue. This one's very, orange, color temperature orange. So it's a nice contrast. It shows all my wrinkles. Now all this is just like a lamp, like a bedside table lamp, and it's on a switch, like, I don't know, like dollar store, I guess. And then I have this little lamp. You can use anything, but I use this little one, but you can use any, like a lamp, any kind of lamp. So, but put light on yourself so you're nice and bright, and don't have any bright lights behind you. Now, let me talk to you about that for a second. So if you have a bright light behind you, this is the effect. Okay, like if there's a light in the frame, even if it's over here, that's the effect. Look at that. That's what it does. So if you got a window behind you, even a small one, or a light, even a small one, that's what it does. So like it's like you're in witness protection program. Don't do that. Make sure there's no lights behind you. Like make sure you just, you have every light behind you is off or covered up. And you want to be the brightest thing on the screen, okay? Because the students will latch onto that. And by the way, if you have really bad video and like it's just, you don't take the care to make it into a nice video and your audio is not bad, not very great, the kids, you'll lose them immediately. They're watching TikTok. I mean, if they see a really rotten video quality TikTok video, they will probably click off it faster than time. So if they're looking at you and they're going, this video is the worst thing I've ever seen, well, they're not going to watch you. They're not going to be engaged. So make sure you have a good quality video feed going. Okay, microphones. Okay, microphones. I'm sorry for going so fast. So we have a lot of options with microphones. First of all, you can use a microphone like this guy. This is a microphone that has, you put it on over your head, you know, it's got earphones, and it's got a wand, like it's a gaming headset. So you put it on like this. So the microphone's really close to your mouth. So if you're doing something in like dance or visual arts or something where you got to do a lot of moving around, your microphone is always going to be on your mouth and it's always going to be clear. Whereas you're listening to me through this is a stationary microphone. So when I move away like this, I don't sound so good anymore. So you want to always stay close to your microphone. I'm online all day. I prefer this kind of microphone and I'm careful. Okay, but this is very convenient. Okay, and this one here plugs in with simple plugs like this. See, this is what it plugs in with. So it'll work on your machines. It's a piece of cake. Okay, that's one option. Another option, the same sort of style is this sort of thing. This is another one, same thing. This is by Plantronics. This last one was by Logitech. This is by Plantronics. This is a USB one. It plugs in with a USB cable, you know. This is the cable it uses to plug in. And again, the same deal, you know, same thing. Last one like that is this one. This is a Bluetooth. This is another Plantronics one. It's Bluetooth. Same thing. I mean, piece of cake. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you got any more questions about that, let me know. Now, the next one I want to talk to you about, I got a box of these. These come with phones. Look, I got a box of these. It's the the AirPods. Well, these are just the regular, you know, things. What do you call these? Like just Apple headphones, you know, with a microphone. So I use these. I have these around all the time. I always use them. These are good too. Yeah, earbuds. Yeah, these are good too. But I do find I got big ears and they fall out. So let me give you a little trick on this one. See, so this is the way they come, which is, they're not bad. If you go to the dollar store and you buy $5 Bluetooth headphones, you know, $5 ones, they're garbage. They're not going to be any good for you. Don't bother. But these little things, these little rubber ear things come with them, and you put them on. See, they slip right on over these guys. So there you go. And then they fit in your ears and they stay there perfectly. I love it. It's great. It's great stuff. So if you get a $5 pair of like cheap old Bluetooth headphones with these little rubber doodads on them, I don't know what this is called, but they work great. And then put them on yours. So these work okay too. They're not the greatest, and you're going to be stuck to length, you know. So it's good enough, you know. It's good enough. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Now the Bluetooth AirPods, is that what they're called? AirPods, the Bluetooth ones. Those are really good too. And I had an opera singer back in like June who was doing some shows online, and she needed to find the best quality in trying to keep things moving around. She wanted to be able to move around, but keep the best quality. And we tested a load of these like earbuds, these kinds of ones, tested Sony, tested a whole bunch. And the best ones for quality we found were the Apple ones. So that's what she used on her shows. It's not the best quality microphone, not a chance, but it's okay for like speaking and things like that. Got a couple of questions. Let me have a look here. So Wayne's said, I have a very good setup for teaching. My problem is when the students are using old laptops, low internet. Yeah, okay, I know what you're saying. Yeah, there are some issues there too. And listen, if you want to contact me directly, I can talk to you about the unique issues here. We can talk about that. Bluetooth, I struggle with latency sometimes. You know, Becky Becko. Yes, I was going to say that. The iPods, these guys here, which are Bluetooth, and the AirPods, that the Apple ones, Bluetooth has latency. They are going to be late. They're going to be delayed anyway. Now we're going to have latency. Anyway. You guys have latency in here. It's just, we do. But the Bluetooth makes it worse. Okay. So just something to think about. I find AirPods good with talking with students, but I have an issue with, okay, sound quality. I heard a piano and start playing. Any idea? Wow, I have an issue with the quality of sound heard on the piano when I start playing. Yeah, if you're playing piano, like acoustic piano, you almost want to have a microphone separate. I'm going to get to that next. Okay, that's the next thing. Let me get this out of the way. My box of Chianti. Are you guys having a good time? Are you having a good time? I'm sorry, I'm never asking what. Hey, are you asleep? I mean, I got so much to tell you, but I don't want to rush things. But we don't have a lot of time. And please feel free to reach out to me one-on-one. I'm happy to help you. Okay, so the next one is desktop microphones. So you can buy USB desktop microphones. A lot of companies make them. Rode makes them. Audio-Technica makes them. Blue makes them. Actually, this company here, Blue, they make them. And they're good. They sit on your desk like that, and they make great sound. It's really good. And they're not really expensive, but they sound great. But they're there. So if you move away, you're not going to hear as well, because the microphone's staying on the desk, But I like going like this with my students and saying, "Are you listening to me?" Because the proximity to the microphone is going to change. Yeah. Anyway, so the desktop ones are another type. Now, then the other type I want to tell you about is regular studio microphones or stage microphones that have like this kind of plug, XLR. That's this kind. Like this is an old handheld microphone I have. Still sounds great. And this is another one. See, it's an XLR. So if you want to use this, and that's what this one is as well, the one I'm on here now. These ones, you need to connect them to a separate box. We call that an audio interface. So an audio interface is a box that lets you connect this guy to your computer. Okay, now they're not expensive. Like you can get at Lon McQuaid $40. They start, So, and then you can connect in any microphone you got. So for the person who said they're a piano teacher, you can have one microphone on your piano, another microphone on your mouth, So you can have a good mix there, right? So $40, then you can use any microphone you get your hands on. So that's just another option. Something else I want to talk to you about. Multiple monitors. Right now, let me show you what I'm running here. Okay, don't laugh. It's my laptop over here. Can you guys see that? That's my laptop. And this is my main screen here. Okay, this is a 56-inch monitor. This is another monitor here, which I still got the stuff from the speed test. And there's another monitor here I don't have anything on right now. So I'm running 4 monitors right now in order to be able to keep on top of all of the chat and the windows and all that kind of stuff. You might want to run a couple of monitors too. No, Jennifer, Jenny Peters, there shouldn't be a problem with that because the audio interface takes care of that sort of thing. The audio interface doesn't let anything feedback on 2 microphones. If you have speakers going and sound coming in from your speakers, microphones may pick it up, but any microphone could cause that trouble. We got to be careful of that. I can't really get into that right now, but if anybody was getting feedback and they wanted to talk about it one-on-one, I'm happy to talk about it. Multiple monitors, most of your computers will run multiple monitors right now. Also, another thing too, I can't remember the name of the app off the top of my head, but there's an iPad app that you can take an iPad and you can just plug it in and plug it into your computer, and then that becomes a second monitor. And you'll see what you need to see. Like maybe your students' faces will be here, and all your notes will be on your screen. So you can use an iPad, or a phone as a second monitor too. So that's another option for you. But multiple monitors are good. It gives you more real estate to have stuff playing. So okay, we're officially over time. Will I keep going, Jennifer? Guys, listen, I'm sorry we're going so fast. There's a lot of stuff to cover. I mean, I wanted to cover some more things, but I mean, what will I do?
Sure, go ahead, Andrew. Yeah. You've been answering questions as we go, so that's good. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, rock and roll. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is some Chrome extensions. Now, Chrome extensions. There's a lot of browsers out there that your students can use. Hang on. So we had a question from Sophia. I'm zooming into classroom as a guest teacher, but I'm having trouble time hearing the students unless they come really close to the teacher's laptop. Any ideas how to hear my students better? Well, all of those ones I just mentioned, those options then, Sophia, about microphones could work. Like on the teacher's computer, maybe the teacher could have an external microphone, a desktop one, maybe a USB. I've been working with a lot of teachers in Toronto districts, and they've been buying the Blue Yeti. That's what a lot of them have been buying, and they really like it. It's really working well. It's a great sounding microphone, the Blue Yeti. So, and that's a microphone sits on a desktop, so the student can stand close to that. So that, you know, proximity to the microphone is going to be an issue. Because watch this. This microphone here is $3,000. Okay, now you don't need that, but this is a $3,000 microphone. So if I go back here, I'm like 6 feet from the microphone. So 6 feet, and you can't really hear me that well. I mean, I'm sure you can hear me a bit, and I'm speaking really loud, but I'm sure it's not that great. You see, so the students they need to get close anyway. If they're going to speak into the microphone, they do need to get a foot away, you know. So anyway, I hope that helps you, Sophia. No problem. If you want more information on that, feel free to email me because I have no friends, and I'm happy to help you. Okay. Yeah, I know, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce. Agnica? I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name. I'm horrible. I'm stunned as a quilt. Here's a little trick. I don't have one here, but Ziploc bags. Just go to your corner store, get some Ziploc bags. If a student uses one, Ziploc bag over the microphone, la 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 la, Ziploc bag off, and put it aside. If you want to sanitize it again, you can, or throw it away. Another Ziploc bag over the microphone. Next student does their thing, off, put it aside. That's the best option I've seen so far when it comes to social distancing on microphones. Okay. Okay. Couple of I want to talk to you about Chrome extensions. Reason why I'm saying Chrome extensions and not another type of extension, say like for some or another browser like Firefox or Internet Explorer or anything, is because a lot of students are using Chromebooks. I'm sure a lot of you are. A lot of your students are. And they're ubiquitous these days for not necessarily for a good thing, but the Chrome extensions, Chrome works on that. So these extensions work across pretty much every platform. There are two Chrome extensions I want to talk to you about, okay? The first one is called Page Marker, and you've already seen me using it. Whoops, P-A-G-E Marker. Here we go. So Page Marker, I typed in Page Marker for Chrome, sorry. Page Marker. Here it is here, Page Marker. I'm right here. See this? Page Marker. So what you got to do, you just click. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I'm one step ahead. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I don't mean to jump ahead. Here's the website for Chrome extensions. And I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I'm all out of sorts now because we're out of time. But Chrome extensions are little pieces of software that let you give you new functionality to the Chrome browser. So, and that website I just gave you is the one that'll let you add extensions to Chrome. It's a piece of cake. Let me just show you how it works. Up here on the board, which is the address I just gave you, I want to show you Page Marker. Okay, so I've typed in Page Marker and it comes up right here. These are free. And right here, I've already got it installed. But all you need to do right here is click Add to Chrome, and that's it. Just add to Chrome, and that's it. It's there. Okay. So what Page Marker does, I'll go back to my, this page here. You know, the one that's for speed test, and it lets me use a marker. See, I can mark on any website. See that? And I can scroll down, and the marker will stay. So if I circle this one here, I can mark it in. So if I'm using music or anything, and I want to highlight something on a score, it can let me change colors and things like that. You guys can play with it. You can figure that out. There's nothing to it. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the other one. Oh, that's not right. This one. I'm going to go back, and another one that I use, and if we have time, I'm going to explain how we use this one, is called Simple Audio Recorder. So I'm going to type in here, Simple Audio Recorder. There it is right there. Simple Audio Recorder. Now this is it right here. I've already got it installed. Now, simple audio recorder, let me just go to this for a second. Sorry, guys, give me a second. I just want to start a blank one. Here we go. Okay, so I just want a clean page I can write on. Simple audio recorder is this guy up here. See the microphone icon right up there? See the little black microphone? You see that? That's simple audio recorder. Here's what it does. If I want a student to record themselves, they have that installed on your computer, here's what they do to record themselves. This is it. One click. Hello, I'm recording myself. Yay, I'm recording. Second click. Okay, done. It's finished. It automatically records the student. And when you click the second time, it automatically downloads it into your downloads folder. Look at that. It put it into my downloads folder right there. So now if I go to my downloads folder, and I can probably even show you this. If I go to my downloads folder, you can't see it. There's a file in there. It's just recorded. That was it. It's done. So if I do it again, I just go check 1, 2, check 1, 2, click again. See, it did it again. Now there's two recordings up there. So let's say, for example, you wanted to have you've got students at home and you want to have everybody together record "O Canada." You can say to everybody, okay, everybody, now we're going to use simple audio recorder. So make sure you get your microphones ready and everybody get their mouse over the simple audio recorder. Okay, all ready? Okay, here we go. I'm going to play guitar and you go, okay, ready? Start recording. And everybody hits record and you go 3, 2, 1. And you go, oh, Canada, da, 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 and then over. And then everybody hits stop. And then they've all got a recording of every individual student recording themselves, just themselves, singing "O Canada." You get them all to submit it into Google Classroom or email it to you or put it in a Google Drive, whatever works for you. They all submit it. And you've got a unison or harmony, doesn't mean to be anything. We do this in 4-part choirs. Then it's all synced up. You can just put it into a piece of software like Audacity or GarageBand, and that's your virtual choir. One take. We can get into a bit more of that later. I'm going to race on forward. I'm sorry. And you know what? That technique, I love it. It works really well. I'll be happy to get into more with it. And maybe we can figure a better way to do it. Let me know if you want more information on that. I'm happy to help. You may. Okay, let me talk about recording classes. I record almost all my classes. In where I teach high school music, and I want to have my classes recorded. The students they sign a waiver at the beginning of the year for the media, and so my students, I have the right to record them. I'm allowed to record them. So I record classes. I record the classes so that the students can come back anytime and watch the recordings. I make it available to them privately. They can go back and watch the recordings anytime they need to. And also I watch the recordings from time to time as well, because I'm not just want to look at myself on camera, although that's entertaining in itself. I want to actually look and see what I'm doing, if it's working or not. Because I'll watch myself and I say, oh, I'm talking too fast, or Susan, Jennifer, Jennifer can answer that question for you. You know what, Helen, I do have a lot of suggestions. I just did a big Cross Canada choral presentation on Tuesday past. Got more coming up. That was recorded. It was all choral. So a lot of what you hear in here was in it, but we're doing more choral stuff too. So send me an email and I'll make sure you get it. I'll make sure you find out what's what. Okay, no problem. Norma, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And if you need anything, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to help you. Recordings, yeah. If you can, record your students and make it available to them in something like Google Drive, because if you put the recordings up in Google Drive, you can say only this person is allowed to see it, or only these people are allowed to see it, and then they will be the only ones that can allowed to see it. So, it's good. Think about that. Entertain, that's good. No problem, Amanda. I'm glad. Okay. I want to speak to you. I'm going to skip a couple of things. I want to speak to you about are the models that we have. The models that we have right now and what we're going to have. We have a face-to-face model, which is in Newfoundland and Labrador. That's where we are, because we don't have any cases really. So our choirs, our bands are almost entirely face-to-face. Fine. That's not going to last forever. And then we have our hybrid model. And the hybrid model would have some students, some choristers, some people, participants in your groups at home, watching online, and some in face-to-face. And then the third, of course, is online. The first thing I'd say to you is make sure that you're teaching all of these groups today to be able to pivot to the other model, because that will happen, and you want them to be ready so they can go on like that. If you need them to create accounts on Google Classroom, do it now. If you need them to download the simple audio recorder, do it now. Don't wait until then. Okay, that's the first thing. Face-to-face, I'm not going to talk too much about. Hybrid, I'm really worried about. I'm really, really, really worried about the hybrid model. I am, because I've seen this model being used lots of times. And the problem is that the face-to-face students get all the attention and the people at home are disillusioned. It happens all the time. I'm going to give you a couple of tips right now. These are just entry level. First thing, let's say you're in a choir. Okay, I'm going to say choir. Say you're in a choir and you have 3 or 4 people at home. If you're going to run 3 cameras running, 3 different feeds running in your rehearsal for your participants at home. And let's assume you're using Zoom. One is a phone. It could be a phone, doesn't matter. Put it so it's looking at the whole ensemble and it's listening to the whole ensemble. So the person at home can hear the whole ensemble. Okay, that one's going to be back in the room, like in further back, so you can see the whole thing. The other one is going to be focused on the conductor, so it'll be on the person, conductor. Okay, thanks, Anne. Let me know if there's anything you need. I'm happy to help you. So focus on the conductor, so the conductor can talk directly to the person. So there's another phone right there, and they can see and they can hear the student back there. And this is the most important one. In the ensemble, face-to-face, one person needs to be a twin with the person at home. And it's their responsibility to make sure the person at home is their handler. So that there's a disconnection or something, or they don't understand something, that they can be there to help them. That person should be in their section. So if it's a flute player, it should be a flute player. If it's a soprano, it should be a soprano. Okay, I'm talking in the context of music, but you can apply it to anything. That person should also have a phone. And they should have that on their music stand showing their friends in their section. 5 or 6 people in the soprano section. So the person at home is still in the group. The person at home is still able to be there with their friends, the camaraderie, and they can wave to their friends and stuff like that during the rehearsal. And in Zoom, if they want to, they can then switch to see the wide shot of the full group. Fine. They can switch to see the conductor's face directly. That's fine. It's camera 2 and camera 3. They can switch to be in their little ensemble in their intersection. Yeah. Thanks, Dory. Good to see you. Let me know if you need any help. Because we want to, don't ignore these people at home. The hybrid model is the one that the most people drop out on because they feel like they're not part of the ensemble anymore. Okay. In an online setting where everybody's online, we want to make authentic music making, authentic art making. We want to do things that are going to engage the students in real music making, because that's what they signed up for. I'm saying music making, and it could be dance, it could be anything. So do everything you can to try to make that happen. If you're doing, I explained to you just then about how you can do with simple audio recorder, you can do a take of O Canada, and that will be 60 people at home, all singing O Canada at the same time. Now they can't hear each other. They can only hear the accompanist. They only hear the conductor. So, but they can sing along on the spot and be recording themselves. Now let's talk a little bit about virtual choir. The virtual choir format right now is all choir members take their part home, they learn it, and then they spend 20 or 30 takes getting it perfect. And yeah, okay, no problem. Yep. 20 or 30 takes getting it perfect. And you imagine the stress on that? Like really, these students, the social emotional learning considerations that we need to have when doing these virtual choirs, I got a lot of red flags going off, you know? So these students, they want to do their best. They'll do many, many, many takes. And I doubt that very many of these students are able to do it and still have a positive experience, because they want to do it perfect. You know, they will. They don't want to embarrass themselves, but they're singing solo. Most choral people, most choristers don't want to do that. Band, same deal. They're all playing solo. They would probably be pretty concerned. They may drop out. Ask yourself, I said this at the beginning, what responsibilities do you want to put on your students? What responsibilities do you want to put on you? If you take the idea of virtual choir, the responsibility is on their shoulders, because every single one of them is responsible for sending in a good take. They're not going to send in a bad take. And what's it going to take for them to be that good? I mean, it's not natural anyway. So think about that as you're doing the next virtual choir. I mean, there's a time and a place. Absolutely. But think about the social emotional considerations of the students as they're doing these kinds of projects. Try to find other ways. And I'd be happy to come up. And that whole idea of using simple audio recorder, I came up with that idea because somebody was saying this thing. They said, Andrew, we got to find another way. I don't want to have my students going through all this stress. And I said, okay, we'll leave it with me and I'll think about it. And I went away and I found simple audio recorder, and bango, now we all of a sudden we got a solution. Is it perfect? No. But boy, I tell you, it's not bad. What's going to be invented next? What are we going to come up with? Maybe you and I spend a bit of time together and we flesh out some ideas. We might come up with something else new. Okay. I have a few things that we could talk about, but you know what? I'm going to stop. Does anybody have questions? No, let's hear your questions. I know you do have questions, and type them in. And just like the virtual choir, don't feel stressed, because 9 chances out of 10, you have the same questions that many other people are asking. And you need a part 2? Yes, Amanda. I know what you mean. I know. But Amanda, what I will say to you is that when I tell you that I'm more than happy to help people individually, I'm not joking. I really do mean that. I'm happy to help out. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Register for the video and email. I know. Yeah. So Jennifer, I guess Jennifer will let you know where you can find this video. Maybe you can get it at Blockbuster. You can rent it for the weekend. I'm doing storytelling. What ways can you make it interactive? Well, storytelling, I do some storytelling with one of the courses I do. Interactive. One of the things we didn't talk about, I like doing radio plays in Zoom. So it can just be audio, don't need to use any video, but radio plays. So the storytelling is done through radio play. And that will be a script. And then one student reads their part, next person reads their part, next person reads their part, but it's done as a radio play. And then what we also do is we use Audacity. Actually, let me give you this too. We use Audacity. Oh, I need to get this fast. Actually, you know what? I have a lot of links. You use Audacity to create the Foley sound effects. You can use along with it. It's very cool stuff. I don't know. I'm going to share this with you guys now, but I don't know if this is going to look horrible in the chat. I'm going to try. It's probably going to look gross. I'm going to try pasting it in. No, not let me do it. For Audacity, oh, no, I don't have it. I thought I had it here. I mean, I can make a whole bunch of links and stuff available. No problem, Becky. Yeah, so I make some links and that available to Jennifer so she can post them up after. How do you switch multiple cameras, multiple screens in Zoom? You do share, and then you can do multiple. You can do a second camera under share instead of sharing a desktop or anything. Okay, how to control the video screen in Zoom, hosting online concert. Yeah, well, I can switch between multiple cameras, and I can also have multiple cameras on the screen at the same time. But if you're doing a concert and you want to do something that's like customized, you should look at the software called OBS. And OBS is a great piece of software for, I'll give it to you here. I got the link. OBS is a great piece of software for having multiple cameras and stuff. It's a little complicated, but you can, I think I just did it private. Sorry, guys. I meant to send everybody. There we go. Okay, that's it there. Putting in for duets and trios. Sarah, there's many options for that. Like I'd start with something like iMovie or Windows Movie Maker, because those ones are, if you're going to edit the videos together like that, because those are free. And start there, and start doing some research. I use Premiere Pro, but that's a big one, But I can look at that. If you want some other suggestions after the fact, I can. You send me an email. Good to see you, Becky. Amy. I'm very happy, Amy. Thank you for coming. Point shared. I understand how hard it is to share as much in one session, but thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, well, you know, again, there's a lot to this, but I just want people to know that there are answers. Don't spin your wheels. If you got a question, send it to me, and I'll see what I can do to help you. You know, try to be as specific as you can, and I'll put my what do you call this? Yeah, there we go. I'll put up my my email again. So you feel free to send me an email. I'm happy to help you. Thanks, Pat. No problem. Igleika. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I apologize. No problem, Sarah. So questions? Any more questions? Let's have some more. I know you have some. I'm happy to answer your questions. And feel free to find me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is pretty heavy. And on Facebook. I don't do a lot of social media because I don't have time. Oh, thank you, Amy. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Amy, listen, if you want to follow me on Facebook, I post up like whenever these are coming up. I usually post on Facebook, so feel free to add me on Facebook if you like. I'll put up ones I'm doing. I'm doing another choral one very soon. I'm doing something on the 30th. Yeah. Storytelling. Yeah, no problem, Della. I'm happy to help. I'll tell you a few stories too. No problem, Tessa.
Great. Well, thank you so much, everyone. It looks like everybody's wrapping up, and want to really thank Andrew for this great session. Really lots of great information, lots for people to kind of digest. And we will be posting this on our website. We'll be posting the full video on our website. We'll send you the link to that. Also, we are going to be hosting more webinars, and we hope Andrew will be able to join us for those as well. We're going to be we're looking at hosting some art discipline specific ones. So platforms that are good for visual arts, platforms that are specific to music, platforms specific to dance. And of course, there's lots of overlap. So that's why we were doing this session today. But we stay tuned. We'll be sending out more information about upcoming webinars, as well as another series of digital roundtable discussions where you will be able to see all of the participants, and people will be talking about their current experiences and sharing information. So that is all coming up soon. So please do stay with us, and we will be sending out an email likely tomorrow or maybe Tuesday, and asking for your feedback on this session and asking for what else you'd like to see as far as our webinar series and how else we can help you. And again, thank you, a big thank you to Andrew, and
my pleasure.
Yes, thank you. And we will, please do send me all of those links. I've captured many of them, but if you have more, we'll include that in the follow-up email tomorrow as well. Okay. So again, wonderful session. Thank you again, and look forward to, well, Andrew and I have more business to discuss about music platforms and things like that going forward. So we'll definitely be in touch, and hopefully we'll be seeing all of you participants again as well. Thanks
everybody. Thanks for coming. And again, if you need anything, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help.
Thank you, Andrew, very much. Wonderful.
My pleasure, Larry. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.